Hey guys, it's Ecstatic Ace here, and I'm just here today at my grandma's house. I know every time I make a video it's like a different scenery in the background, but you might be able to hear my brother talking because he tries to talk really loud. So today I'm actually going to talk about a topic that on the asexuality pages on Facebook that I'm part of, they really wanted me to talk about this, and it's kind of, I don't know, it's not awkward for me to talk about, it's just different. So here we go. Today we're going to talk about asexual people in relationships, and of course, like every video I make, it's from my point of view. So I've only dated 2 people, ever. I'm a nerd. No one likes nerds. I don't. So the first person I dated was my junior year, which was actually last year, and we started dating around Christmas break, when Christmas break got out, and then we ended the relationship around late February. So it wasn't like a long relationship, but the problem with that relationship was we were best friends before we were in a relationship, and then we got in a relationship, and I don't know if they feel the same way about it, but it just became awkward just a little bit. But then when we broke up, we actually were a little closer, and it's just best buddies. Sorry, changing scene guys. And my second relationship was with a girl. We dated for about 5 to 6 months, but the moral of the story here is, even though I'm asexual people can still date. Most of us still date. If you're in a romantic spectrum, doesn't mean you won't date, it's just maybe you just don't want to, or you don't have those romantic feelings, and that's fine. Don't feel ashamed for who you are. If you want to find someone to date and you are asexual, yes, it's going to be harder for someone to accept that about you, but it shouldn't be a deciding factor. You will find someone who cares about you and wants to date you. And if someone can't accept your sexual orientation or your needs and wants as an asexual person, they don't deserve you. Not you in the place. So I have dated 2 people. The first person I dated identifies as pansexual. At least that's what they told me, they identify as pansexual. So pansexual, asexual, almost on opposite sides of the spectrum in case of sexual attraction. Asexual meaning lack or no sexual attraction, to pansexual, which I identify as heterosexual attraction to anyone, gender not being a factor, so male, female, non-binary. My second relationship was with a girl who initially believed she was in the asexual spectrum, and now I believe she told me she identifies as pansexual. And to be honest, that's okay. Yes, I was looking for someone in the asexual spectrum because they'll understand me more, I believe. But now that she realized that she identifies as pansexual, I love her 10 times more because she was brave enough in our relationship to come out to me a second time to tell me I'm not who I said I was. But to be honest, how many times did I change my sexual orientation that I thought I was? You can look at my coming out video and realize that I went through so many stages before I found the one that I'm comfortable identifying with. It kind of hurts that she couldn't tell me because she felt so uncomfortable. Because she felt uncomfortable as identifying as asexual, but she thought that I would dump her because of it. No, I would have dumped her if she didn't tell me. Don't be afraid to come out. It's hard, especially if you're in a relationship. It's really difficult. Just don't be afraid. So I dated someone not in the asexual spectrum and someone I believe to be in the asexual spectrum, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit. So dating someone that's not in the spectrum can be a little difficult because, especially if they're not in the ace spectrum, it means that they have sexual attraction and you don't. Not necessarily meaning that you don't want to have sex. I'm what I define as sex repulsed. And when I say sex repulsed, what I mean is that sex is kind of awkward. It makes me uncomfortable and I don't like it. Most people in the asexual spectrum use this to tell other asexuals or people that are learning about the asexual spectrum that they don't like sex. It makes them uncomfortable. And when I say sex positive, it means it's people who are comfortable with sex for themselves, pleasing their partner, and even people in the sexual pulse spectrum can still have sex to please their partner, to please themselves. It just sometimes makes it a little harder. Sorry for all these location changes I keep having to move. So to the dating topic. Asexuals seem to find it a little more difficult to date people that aren't in the asexual spectrum, which is completely understandable. I was terrified of that. So when I had my first relationship with someone who wasn't in the asexual spectrum, it kind of eats at you mentally sometimes, because I always thought, I can't give them something that they want. Especially being sex repulsed, I'm not going to. And that can be difficult. It's definitely, I wouldn't say harder, but you have more challenges to cross with someone who isn't in the asexual spectrum when you are. And that's okay. Being someone who wasn't asexual, it didn't really hinder our relationship at all. It's just, you have to think about the future. If you end up being in this relationship for years and years, will it become boring to the other person, or will they want something you can't give them, or you don't want to give them? It's always something that I kind of thought about and it kind of ate at my brain. And then to dating people in the asexual spectrum. Dating someone in your spectrum can be difficult because you have to find someone in the spectrum that you can get along with enough to be in a relationship with, and that can be really difficult. It can prove to be hard. So I, being the teenager I am, I joined an asexual singles page on Facebook, and that's where I met my second person I dated, my girlfriend, well, my ex-girlfriend. When we first met, she was on the asexual singles page because at the time she was comfortable identifying as asexual. So we met, and I'm like, this is great. And dating someone in the asexual spectrum is pretty much the same as dating someone that's not in the asexual spectrum. The only difference is you may not have to think about the future as much. It might not eat at you as much because you don't have to think about, I can give them something they want. Now, if you're happen to say asexual and they're gray asexual and they still might occasionally have sexual attraction to you, that's okay. But it's always okay to set boundaries. You have to know that setting boundaries is okay. It really is. So with dating comes something that asexuals care a lot is about our sex lives. Because when I first told people I'm asexual, they automatically assumed that I would have no sex life. Really? It's okay to assume that. I mean, when you hear the word asexual, lack or no sexual attraction, it's kind of on human instinct to believe, they're not gonna have sex, no sex life. And now I'm coming back to the sex positive, sex repulsed thing. You are asexual. That does not bound you to have or not have a sex life. You do you. To be honest, you do you, because I am sex repulsed, so my sex life is probably gonna be very little to none. Like, very, very little to none. An asexual person who's in the more sex positive range might have a full-time sex life to please themselves, their partner, like I said before, to have children. It's all there. My sex life is my business. And a lot of people say that when asexuals come out, it's like telling people about our sex lives. And I'm like, huh? What? A lot of people that hate online to me are like, why do we feel the need to come out? It's basically telling people about our sex lives. No, that's not true. Just because you are asexual and you lack sexual attraction does not mean that you can't have sex. End of story. I actually got asked this question on Facebook. It was how to let people or crushes know that you're asexual, or to not let them down if you don't want to date them, or you feel you can't give them what they want and you just want to turn them down lightly. This can be a little difficult because coming out, like I said in my video, is difficult. What people need to realize is that if they want to go out with you, that's great. Maybe you don't need to tell them that you're asexual up front. You don't. But when things might start getting a little sexual and you might start to feel uncomfortable, that is a time you need to set your boundary. And sadly, sometimes it leads to breakups. But if they break up with you, they're not the one. Because someone out there will accept you for your sexual orientation and your sex life, whatever it happens to be. That's it. But to not let them down or to let them down easy is just like any relationship. It's like telling someone that has a crush on you, but you don't have a crush on them back. Letting them down easy. Just tell them you're not interested. If you don't want to tell them you're asexual, don't. Just say you're not interested. But that's it. I'm done talking and writing. Bye guys.